Hey, GG,
Alpaca,
boys.
G is in.
GG.
That's
What'd you call me?
GG. Well,
GG.
catch you later.
GG.
Games.
Later.
G.
Good gaming. Oh, it feels so sweet to pay out the believers. Oh, man. It is funny that I've won 2 in a row basically just due to mouth subterfuge. That one's a little bit less insane than rolling a 10 versus a 9. But still. 100% win rate is Mario. You know what? So true, so true. I don't know what we're going to do for like the rest of the day, but we'll play like a little Super Auto Pets for a bit. We'll figure it out. For now, we'll do a little Super Auto Pets. Famous last words. I don't know. Like, there's not... My ears are open. But then whenever I'm like, oh, what should I play? People are always like, oh, Payday the Heist. And I'm like, nah, I think I'm just going to play Super Auto Pets. Or is this just like, you know, 170-hour-long RPG from the PS1 era? And I'm like, come on, man. Like, I'll always do the service of going to steam250.com and then seeing, like, what's hot this week. Visual novel. The heck is Clownfield 2042? An FPS where you take on the role of a unique soldier equipped with 6 weapons. After the 2022 crypto crash caused by NFTs, the majority of nations collapsed and a union of no clowns has been formed. You are one of them. Arm up and get ready for war. Handsome Pants, of course. We could always go back to the hard court. Thank you for the gifted subscriptions. Thank you. What about this one? Chinese driving test simulator. Are you ready to take on the challenge of the Chinese driving test? It will test your skill of driving, knowledge of vehicle and traffic rules. The Chinese driving test simulator will show you a complete realistic Chinese driving test experience. Very positive reviews. English language not supported. As this is the top review. As I love Chinese culture, I decided to purchase this wonderful driving simulator, which has an extremely low price. Unfortunately, I couldn't understand the options or anything because I don't know Chinese. But I spent a few minutes trying random options while eating Lao Gan Ma. Since I don't know how to drive, I crashed several times, which cost me a lot of social credit points. It's 0.2 hours played. Excaliburian. Nope. I just saw JRPG and hit Alt left. The heck? I'm not trying to be this guy every time, but literally like 11 of the top 15 games on Steam 250 this week are visual novel / dating simulators. I'm not saying all visual novels are exclusively horny. Some of them also subvert your expectations and scare you a little bit. But man, like this, the market is just going nuts, man. What about Yoga Master? Yoga Master is the first wellness game of its kind, built entirely in 3D and designed by experts to help you reach the perfect balance between mind and body. Finally, on PC, a yoga game really well done. A lot of customization options and webcam body detection is awesome. Okay, let's just pass that one on to Germa. I don't think I'm going to be playing that one myself. But maybe that would be a good fit for a braver streamer. Caveman Hunt. Hunt dinosaurs of the ancient world in this platformer with shooter elements. Look, come on. Come on. There's got to be something, man. Rolling balls. This is a physics-based ball racing game where you compete against friends in coupe mode, or if you choose to play alone, or if that choice has been made for you, there's an option to race against time in the single-player mode. At Home Alone Final. A leisure-healing mini-pixel plot game exploring at home. Players will wander at home from the perspective of a little girl. What will she do when she is home alone? You could just watch Gordon Ramsay. That's true. Suppose you could just watch Gordon Ramsay and be like, you donkey. That's the ticket, man. Just we'll just watch the new Spider-Man or something like that. I got strikes to spare, man. What if we just watch the new Spider-Man? I'd have to be crazy not to. Hold on, I'm okay. This month, top games this month: Milk Outside a Bag of Milk Outside a Bag of Milk, a sequel to Milk Inside a Bag of Milk Inside a Bag of Milk. Dive into the demented and bizarre world once again, and help the girl become a little happier. Anybody familiar with this game? 91% positive reviews on Steam. Karryn's Prison. Control the confident, sexy Karryn as she becomes the new chief warden in the notorious all-male prison in the RPG. Go manage the prison and inmates, but can you also manage Karryn's ever-rising desires? Experience the true adult game that fully marries adult elements into all gameplay. It's the fourth... sorry, my mistake. I don't want to misrepresent it. That's the fifth highest reviewed game in the last 30 days. Motor Town Behind the Wheel. It's all about pure driving pleasure. Love Delivery. A game about starting a relationship while working a delivery job. Please read reviews for Karryn's Prison. Okay, but only because I was asked. Oh, I must log in to see this content. I apologize. Karryn's Prison. $34? I can't even, oh my God. I don't even want to tell you what I saw. I pulled a muscle and couldn't walk for 4 hours. You go to horny jail and you go to horny jail. Everybody goes to horny jail. Pleasured myself for almost 5 hours straight in my first session. 10 out of 10. 5.2 hours at review time. Oh, man. One of them is just ASCII art of Pepe the Frog's eyes popping out of his head. And it says booba. I mean, like, I don't want anybody to just be catching strays for, like, whatever they enjoy. But I do love reading the essay-length reviews of games designed to jerk off to. One of my favorite porn games. I like the graphics, of course, but the actual highlights of the game, in my opinion, are the excellent integration of porn and gameplay, and the very interesting JRPG mechanics. The passive system slowly turns you into a... It's censored? I don't even know with context what the word could be. The 9 different gauges that are as many resources to juggle with, the fact that sex is an active part of battle, these are all incredibly well thought out systems that I truly wish will become a new standard, like HP bars in a normal RPG or corruption value in their porn equivalents. On the other hand, the main problem of this game is its tediousness. The UI does not allow the player to play as quickly as it should. The abundant dialogues and animations tend to slow the gameplay down to a halt. Some parts simply take too long to be satisfying compared to their rewards. A clear example is the bar minigame. A single session could take as long as 20 minutes for a minigame that theoretically should be done every in-game day for a run of more than 50 days. In a single run, you could be looking at more than 10 hours of grinding just on that minigame. This is utterly ridiculous, and the achievement statistics, with only 0.6% of players at the time of this review having completed 30 bar shifts, clearly show that most players think the same way. It shouldn't have to be this way. A lot of easy fixes can make it more reasonable. Automatic willpower skill usage, shortcut, a fast forward button separated from the confirm button, or at least making it so holding the fast forward button doesn't input actions, a quicker or more personalizable fast forward, or even simply condensing the minigame by making rewards higher and reducing the number of choices to make. Even 5 minutes could be pushing it. 20 is insane. Personally, I was able to make it a lot more acceptable by installing RPG Maker MV Speed Hack and writing a few mods to fix the most egregious problems. And I have to admit, finding that plugin and making those mods turned out to be pretty easy, but I would argue that it being so easy that the developers should have done it themselves to begin with. Still, despite its flaws, it's clearly a masterpiece, so I do recommend it. The end. 95.3 hours on record! So, yeah, it's good, I guess. 34 hours on record. This is my first foray into the genre. I was not ready. The obvious points are all awesome, but the strategy, I'm literally blown away. Dehydration is real, folks. 75 hours on record. Please stop. Please pivot. I'm just saying. Top review. I don't want to be horny anymore. There's a lot of good ones here. This is a certified hood classic. I don't want my friends on Discord to know I'm playing this, so I renamed the game to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean. All right, here we go. Finally, a review that has a description, okay? You're playing a sexy female warden tasked to take care of a notorious prison. It's something you don't see every day in fiction or otherwise, and while the story itself isn't exactly you want to write home about, it's the gameplay that makes it better. Gameplay is in quotation marks, for whatever reason. The many, many interactions you get to do while battling prisoners rioting, you can either do the old-fashioned easy way of just beating them the F up, or better yet, the sleazy way of beating them up dry of their contents. Right? Like a normal human being challenge, 2022 has been failed immediately. Whether you want to do it the normal way of just beating them the F up, or better yet, the sleazy way of beating them up dry of their contents. Winky Face D. You can challenge yourself into preserving your innocence, or you can enjoy a stress-free prison by losing yourself time and time again. Winky Face 3. All right. Beating them up dry of their contents. Oh, have mercy, these harlots are having me question my devotion to the Lord. Can I just be honest? Everybody seems to love it if they're into it. This is like the ultimate, if you're a fan of the genre, maybe check it out. Like, none of these reviews are like, this is a waste of my time. It has like 92% positive reviews, and people are like, this is a masterpiece. My playtime is a lie. I have over 200 hours put into this thing from the alphas. Why would you admit that on the internet, like, for free? Okay, I love an essay, man. Oh my God, this might be 15 minutes, so I apologize if you hate this, but it needs to be said. An exceptionally polished blend of JRPG, prostitution sim, and prison management sim with some sandbox gameplay. Thematically, it's reminiscent of Third Crisis, but is more tightly conceived. No on-censor patch is necessary. Can be completed on easy in about 12 hours. The gameplay falls afoul of the inherent problem of the genre, but mostly sidesteps them through excellent execution and novel mechanics. JRPGs tend to make really lazy and poorly chosen vehicles for hentai. There's usually massive ludonarrative dissonance. What does fantasy combat have to do with sex? Why does the game insist on me deliberately losing combat to show me the lewds? ? The game tries to address this by integrating lewd mechanics like desire meters, stripping, sexual assault versus regular attacks, what the hell? Into the combat at a very fundamental level. This doesn't really fix the underlying problems, but it does take the rough edges off a bit. The combat's engaging and doesn't get frustrating to the point where you'd consider it a negative, although the difficulty ramp-up is very uneven, and even just regular difficulty can lead to some frankly unfair fights if you don't meet the level requirements. It's a bit convoluted and confusing, with stamina working both as HP and as a resource to spend on specific attacks, but then you can replenish it as another resource called energy, kind of analogous to mana, but not really, after you've run out. But then you run out of that, and you can't out-heal the incoming damage. At that point, you lose the physical combat, but then you go into sexual combat with your stamina bar replenished, which seems to be a race to get your assailants off before they get you off. At which point you sort of win, but not properly win, even though you lost the combat, question mark? Sexual combat is... It's just a funny phrase. There's 2 rooms of people at the start whose only purpose is for each of them to explain one element of the gameplay, and it still doesn't make explicit what the fail state is. I've gotten very little idea what the different states of having your clothes pulled off actually do mechanically. Is it damage reduction? Is it a temporary shield? Both. The desire meter triggers debuffs, but also triggers H events. I think I can read between the lines on that one. But also sometimes buff you too. Lots of vital information is simply not made available to you. It's amazing something so confused seems to play so entertainingly. The obtuseness of some of the gameplay mechanics and thus the metagame can be a real turnoff once the novelty of the game's presentation wears off. There are loads of counterintuitive design decisions which force the player to learn by trial and error things which should be explicit. Chapter 2. The prostitution sim elements are fine and as slickly executed as the rest of the game, but aren't any deeper than the standard fare for the genre. The waitressing job's a bit of a drag. It goes on forever. The difficulty ramps up quickly. It expects you to repeat it regularly to maintain the perks the bar provides. Everybody's going off about this bar minigame. Maybe they got a point. Unlike combat, there's no runaway option. This is probably my biggest irritation with the game in general. I'm just not going to talk about half the stuff they got going on. Dude, we're not even halfway through this review yet. I'm done. You might as well play it at this point. It's true. Again, I'm not being a hater on the game. The reviews are just very funny to me. Like the review that just says booba. I'm like, okay. I get it. The reviews that are like essay length, I'm like, man, this is crazy. Don't let me stop you. I'm just saying. Here's the review. Have you ever wanted to beat up orcs using your vagina? My pee-pee hard me happy. It has one review, award on Steam. My pee-pee hard me happy. Oh, man. Are you winning, son? Anyway, look, I'm punching down, or, I don't know, sideways maybe? I don't know. Let's play some Super Auto Pets. I'm punching. It's just funny. Like, I don't know, if you wrote one of those reviews and you can't see the humor in it, like, I get it. We're human beings, you know. We're all like a little, you know, a little sick, disgusting little prisoners in horny jail. But like, the essay length is fine. I would have thought, have you ever had it? You need to climax so that the post-nut clarity teaches you that it illuminates for you that you don't have to write the review. You need to get some release so that your brain can return to a homeostatic equilibrium of sanity and then be like, I'm not going to waste 2 hours, 3 hours writing this review. Come on. That's my advice anyway. Okay, start prediction. Will NL get 6 wins or more? And then /